Hey everybody, Chris and Jamie here with Steeda. Definitely an interesting weekend this past weekend. We took this brand new 2022 Mach 1 out with a ton of Steeda components to an SCCA Red Hills National Tour event right here at South Georgia Motorsports Park. It was a lot of fun. We placed, I'd say mid-pack, but it was very, very competitive. A lot of very fast and very good drivers in Cam C racing this past weekend. Jamie, we ran the jam, got this car ready late last week. I mean, how do you feel about how it performed and everything else?
Well, with the limited amount of time we had to prep the car, we had 2 days to get it ready for the event, to install the Steeda suspension and alignment and basically be ready for national tour competition.
With no seat time for either of us, right?
With no seat time, because the car literally rolled off the trailer with 18 miles at the event. But the car did really well. It was one of the best balanced cars I've ever driven. The handling was really good. We had a couple of minor transmission shift issues that really cut back on how well the car could have done.
Now keep in mind, this is a 10-speed automatic Mach 1, so on the track, we proved that last year with the Twister Orange Mach 1 that it really performed well down at the firm just outside Jacksonville, but on an autocross course, all of those inputs, very harsh inputs.
Well, the inputs did have an effect on it. It made the transmission upshift and downshift, but the biggest problem was the lack of mileage and time on the transmission, that the adaptive transmission strategy did not have any time to compensate for what we were doing to it.
Yeah, between that though, I mean, the parts on the car, to kind of go over the brief list, it's camber plates, dual rate springs, basically your full stop the hop kit for the most part.
Yep.
Bump steer kit, performance alignment. We added the DTC 70 pads up front, DTC 30 pads in the rear, which helped it brake incredibly well.
The brakes were good. The handling was good. The alignment is more than just a normal performance alignment that we send, that we do serial cars with. It was more dedicated to what you would see at an autocross.
But all in all, off the top of my head, I believe you were 7th place out of 13 cars, and I got 8th place. So how a national tour event works, you have 3 runs on Saturday and 3 runs on Sunday. In a typical autocross event, you get 5 or 6 runs typically, so you kind of have enough time to get a feel for the course and then work up to your best run. National Tour, the pressure's on from the first run because that course changes between Saturday and Sunday. So you've got 3 shots to get your best run on Saturday and 3 shots to get your best run on Sunday, and then your best run from each day is added together to ultimately come up with your total score.
Yep, that's how it works. There's a lot of pressure. There was a lot of really good cars in the class. I think we were about the heaviest car in the class.
3,845 pounds. This was definitely the definition of full weight when it comes to Mustangs.
Yeah, it started out with a full tank of fuel as well. We didn't even have time to get the proper fuel load for what we were doing.
But all in all, I gotta say, this car handled incredibly well. Given it, if it had a stick shift, I think we would have done better. You agree?
Yeah, we would have done a lot better with a stick shift, where we could have got it into the proper gear for what we were doing versus it upshifting and downshifting as it felt that it needed to. I think it would have been a big improvement. We probably could have moved up in the results, but it still proved that the suspension works.
But I gotta say, this car, like Jamie said earlier, incredibly well balanced. Honestly, more well balanced than my 350 was. It is just point and shoot, no drama, no understeer, no oversteer. It was very neutral. Going through the slalom, it was no drama. I mean, you point and shot and it got it where it went. The back followed, it did everything it was supposed to do. I mean, you agree?
Yeah, the balance of the car was great. You could toss it into the turns and it come right out. The back end followed the front with no problems. Like I said, the brakes were good. The Hawk brake pads worked really well, even in the colder temperatures.
Yes.
They still worked phenomenally well.
Yeah, and to add to that, colder temperatures were an understatement. On Saturday, we had roughly, what, high 40s, low 50s?
The temperature when we ran was about 44 degrees with a 37-mile-an-hour wind, so the wind chill was about 31.
Definitely kept that track surface nice and cool, which worked out because the tires we were using, the Yokohama Advan AO52 tires, 200 tread wear, they were they took the heat and held the heat pretty darn well in comparison to a lot of those other 200 tread wear tires in its class.
They definitely have a colder temperature range they like to work in, and it really helped this weekend for the temperatures that we had.
And come Sunday, it was colder, but with less of a wind chill. By the time the sun came out, the wind wasn't blowing as much, so the asphalt was able to retain a little bit of temperature from that sunlight. We were able to get quite a bit of grip down on the ground.
Yeah, the temperatures when we ran Sunday afternoon was upper 40s to about 50. No wind, so the tires were able to retain heat, and they worked a little bit better.
Well, enough talking about these runs. Let's go ahead and throw the clips up. We could show you both myself and Jamie's best run from Saturday and the best run from Sunday as well.
Bad news, a 45.
Well, now that you've seen the runs, go ahead and comment below. Let us know your thoughts. We had an absolute blast with this 22 Mach 1, brand new Steeda suspension underneath. Not that many miles on the odometer. We're excited to take it to the firm and push the envelope even further. And a shout out to our videographer, Peyton Weber, who was also out there this past weekend as well. I think he gets the MVP award because he was only about 2 seconds off of our time.
He was about 3 seconds off our time, but the cone count for him really kept him down.
So anyways, comment below, like I said, hit that like and subscribe button, the notification bell, and don't forget the most important thing.
Speed matters.